Hello seekers, welcome to Punneit Astrology, your one-stop astro channel. Saturn has gone retrograde in the sign of Aquarius in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Saturn started its retrogression on 5th of June and will continue till the month of October. This retrogression will be starting from Aquarius zodiac sign, and on 12th of July Saturn will move to Capricorn, and then it will continue its journey in the Capricorn zodiac sign. So from 5th June to 12th of July, this Aquarius movement of Saturn is extremely important. One, it is less than 1 degree of Aquarius, so it's on the initial portion of the zodiac sign. The second, that it is in the Aquarius part of the Dhanishta Nakshatra, not on the Capricorn part. When you talk about the Aquarian part of the Dhanishta Nakshatra, it has to do a lot with money, finances, materialistic gains, and a retrograde Saturn can turn the fate, bring the wheel of fortune towards your favor. This video is about Saturn retrogression, but only in Aquarius. For the Capricorn part, I will make another video. So please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss another update. Also follow me on Instagram and Telegram for interesting stuff. And you can also, for consultations, drop me an email. The email ID is in the description box below. Consultations are open. I will reply to your email quickly as soon as possible. Let's begin ascendant by ascendant analysis to understand what Saturn is going to bring for you and quickly get to know more about retrograde Saturn for your ascendant. For more awareness, watch this video for your ascendant. If you know your moon sign, you can watch the same video for your moon sign, but take it more on the psychological level. And for more further clarification, this is a Vedic astrology video for those who are not familiar with the Vedic astrology. Let's begin ascendant by ascendant analysis. Stay connected. Aries ascendant. Saturn goes retrograde in your 11th house in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Saturn rules your 10th and 11th house. Therefore, you should be slightly careful about matters associated with career, your reputation, the source of income. Saturn retrograde in Dhanishta may inflate your expectations from life, so you should always give justified demands to the universe. You should always request to the universe the things that you need, the things that you demand from life, but you should also be ready to justify that. Although a retrograde Saturn in 11th house can actually be good for you, it can accelerate the matters related to finance. It can provide you a new source of income. So it's very good time for people who want to change their career. A retrograde Saturn movement this time is clubbed with presence of Jupiter and then future retrogression of Jupiter in the 12th house. Be careful about your expenses. You might take a loan or you might take a load on your head that may end up spending more than what you have earned. Futuristic projections should be carefully done, and you should not rely on assumptions. Overall, if I see, this can be a very good time, especially till the Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius. From 12th of July, Saturn will move in Capricorn, and that can be slightly difficult for people who are looking for promotion, for people who are looking for a good work environment. Hard work is indeed a part and parcel of this transit. So if you are an Aries ascendant or Aries moon sign, be ready to work hard, be ready to give your 200%. Overall, for businessmen, people who are focused on career, who are workaholics, try to maintain a work-life balance because your work may take most of your time. For students and for people who are not involved in career right now, this is the time to think something creative and make the best use of your abilities. Taurus ascendant. Saturn rules your 9th and 10th house, and Saturn goes retrograde in the 10th house. So definitely it is the time when you have to be extra cautious about your career. Also, if you have to travel related to career, you should expect things to move faster than expected. People who are in the foreign country may encounter visa or visa related issues or some job related issues and may have to return back to their own country. You should be very careful in your work environment, how you deal with your supervisors, how you behave. So do not act in hastiness. Try to be very careful in all possible modes of communication. A retrograde Saturn in Dhanishta also means that you might get insulted because of the financial condition, and therefore you might accelerate your efforts towards proving them wrong. Don't do that. Always look at your capacity and try to increase your capabilities and the capacity as per the limits. Being the ninth lord, Saturn will definitely try to bend the dharma, and therefore you will feel that it is your moral responsibility to prove somebody wrong. Don't do that, because that can completely throw the work-life balance away, and it can impact your health in the long run. Overall, a retrograde Saturn in the 10th house can also prove very good for people who want to switch jobs, who want to start a new business, who want to pursue a completely different line of earning. Career options will also come up, but promotions, for some it can be accelerated, for some it can be delayed beyond this year. Try to be as practical as possible, because a retrograde Saturn can make you impractical. Try to not judge people on their face, on just the behavior, but try to learn a lot from the circumstance. A retrograde Saturn means you have to learn inward and you have to work on yourself. So this is the time to go for a complete personality change, develop soft skills, and completely transform your health, your life, and your finance. Look inward, and this is the time you will be able to make the best use of it. And it will also fulfill your expectations, because Jupiter will also be in the 11th house, completely working alongside Saturn. Gemini ascendant. Saturn rules your 8th and 9th house, and this Saturn goes retrograde in 9th house. You might want to achieve something by hook or crook. You might want to apply some shortcuts. Be careful, because Saturn's movement from 12th of July will be in the 8th house, and that means it can bring a lot of uncertainties. Let Saturn accelerate the process. Let Saturn transform your destiny. Until 12th of July, try to make the best use of this energy by completely transforming your life. Go for holistic living. Look out for better career opportunities within or outside the company. See how can you make your life more spiritual, more holistic, and more defined. A retrograde Saturn also means that it can make you work repeatedly again and again, because it aspects the 3rd house. There can be efforts applied towards your ambitions which will not result anything. Have patience. Think for a long run and think in a very practical manner, and you will be able to achieve a lot than you actually can. This can also give you an opportunity to close your debts, close your loans, but this will happen through investments. Because it is moving towards the 8th house, there is a chance that inheritance related matters will be resolved and you will be able to repay off the debts. It can also take away the pain and misery. So expect this to be a time that will change your destiny, a time that will change your life, but you must be ready to never give up. A never give up attitude with a very practical approach and not quitting the fundamentals will help you become successful in every single sphere of your life. Cancer ascendant. Saturn rules your 7th and 8th house, and this is a retrograde Saturn in the 8th house. So therefore, you must be very careful how you communicate with your spouse, how you communicate with your in-laws. Take care of your taxation and investment. You may have to withdraw funds from your investment to fulfill the needs of family, or maybe to pay off the debt. Overall, if I see, this is a positive time, but this is also the time that will bring the churning of life. Especially if you are a Cancer moon sign, then Saturn is also going to go retrograde while it is forming Ashtam Dahya. Therefore, this can be a difficult time for some, whereas this can be a blessing in disguise for some. You have to see your own chart, and if Saturn is malefic, then you have to be very careful, especially till 12th of July until Saturn comes back to Capricorn. But if your Saturn is benefic, then you will expect out of the box opportunity, help coming from angles that you can't even imagine, and your life will become something better, something beautiful that you have never imagined or even dreamt of. This can actually work in your favor. Just pray the mantra of Saturn every day. Nilanjanam samabhasam raviputram yamagrajam chaya martanda sambhutam tam namami shanashram. This is a golden opportunity for you. This can be an opportunity where you can churn yourself. Yes, there will be poison out of this, but you need to discard the negative and accept the Amrit. Chanting Lakshmi mantra, chanting Shri Suktam is also going to be a beautiful remedy to resolve any financial issue. Health can be a concern. Look out for your health and work constantly towards maintaining a good health. Leo Ascendant. Saturn rules your 6th and 7th house. Saturn goes retrograde in the 7th house, which means this can trouble marriages. You have to be very careful how you deal with your circumstance, especially if you are dealing with your life partner or even business partner. People who are trying to get married will see some disturbance because it is retrograde in Dhanishta Nakshatra. This is also the time when people will make you feel about your financial status. Maybe it is too high, or they will claim that it is too low. Don't try to prove anybody and try not to engage into unnecessary arguments. Because Saturn is transiting towards the 6th house, it can create disputes in your life. Ego should be kept aside, and a practical and a holistic and an inclusive mindset should rule your life. 7th house is also the circumstance. Saturn retrograde can give you greater resistance, or it can also, on the contrary, give you zero resistance. So suddenly, if there is an increase in difficulty, or suddenly if everything that is problematic vanishes in your life, blame the retrograde Saturn. In both the cases, try to use your knowledge. Practical approach should be applied because this can be a trap. It's not a negative movement of Saturn. It's actually a very good movement because this can bring people, it can make enemies your friends, but it can also make your friend your enemy. Always follow the path of dharma, justice, and try to be absolutely practical, and you should be spiritual. This is a good transit, but wait, this is not the transit to start a new business. Because if you want to start a new business, you must go back to the drawing board and figure out one loophole that you're missing. If you go back and you do a couple of iterations on the plan that you have already made, you will see that you will be in a much better position to protect and defend your business in the long run. This is also the time when a help from a person can come, which is, you might not consider that person as your friend or even a well-wisher. And this also means compromises in life. A small compromise may be a demand of the universe. So act accordingly. It's a good time, but you have to be aware and you have to work as per dharma. Virgo Ascendant. In this case, Saturn rules your 5th and 6th house, and Saturn goes retrograde in the 6th house. This is a very good opportunity for people who want to change their job, who want to change their domain, who want to change their line. Start applying for new post, new career at this time, and you will see that you will gain success. It's also a very good time for students because they can realize what is the area that they haven't prepared, and therefore you should give more focus towards your studies. 6th house is also the house of disputes, but it is also the house of competition. A retrograde Saturn can give you the edge in the competitive world and you can become successful. So pray to the Saturn by chanting Saturn mantra. Remember, Saturn is the planet of justice. So you must act in a way that justice is served in your favor. Saturn's movement will be towards 5th house, so this can create some concern towards health, towards stomach problems, towards child-related problems, and this can also give you a kind of courage that you will speak up and stand for yourself. So this will also take away the inhibitions and will give you the freedom that you will be using to work in your favor. This is also the time when you might get a very much needed loan, or you will also pay back the unnecessary burden of loans, debts on your head. So utilize this time, work really hard, but take care of your health, because trying to adjust to the circumstance and try to fight everybody, your health can take the biggest hit. Maintain good health. Libra Ascendant. In your case, Saturn rules two very important houses, 4th and 5th house. 5th house Saturn, being retrograde, also talks a lot about your capability to express yourself. So be very careful about how you're going to project your personality, and because that is going to define a lot of things in your life. 5th house also means education. So this retrograde Saturn is talking about the learning that you will get in your life. This is also the time to apply what you have learned in the practical life, and now it's the time to make the revenue out of it. So people who are coming out of the education and who are looking for the job after their education is complete, or people who are into the professional world and who have completed certifications, can now position themselves in a way that these certification, these knowledge will give them an advantage. Using the knowledge for the better learning from the past, learning from the experience that you already have is going to be the key for success while Saturn is retrograde in the 5th house. 5th house is also called as the Purva Punya. It is the navel region. It is the one that holds the Amrit. And when retrograde Saturn comes, the Samudra Manthan gives the Amrit back. So it is actually a very, very positive and a very optimistic time for Libra Ascendant and Libra Moon sign. Observe the position of Jupiter. It is in the 6th house. And this Jupiter talks more about the knowledge that will help you proceed, that will help you win the competition, that will help you get rid of diseases, that will help you get rid of negative things in your life. Club it with Saturn retrogression. Until 12th of July, you have this marvelous opportunity to actually understand your limits, work on your weak areas, and capitalize on the strength areas. People who are into academics, people who are into learning and banking industry, people who are working in metallurgy, petrochemical, coal, energy sector will see a good boost during this transit. Overall, this is an absolutely beneficial transit for you. Make the best use of it by chanting Shani Mantra. Scorpio Ascendant. Saturn will be in your 4th house. It rules your 3rd and 4th house. And while Saturn is retrograde in this house, this means the tensions might increase in your home if you are not practical enough, if you don't have work-life balance. This can also bring you into a situation or a circumstance in life where you will have to choose between your dharma, your duty, and your happiness. A retrograde Saturn in 4th house means it wants you to think what actually gives you happiness and then pursue your passion. It's a good time for people who are working from home and who wants to focus more on the real estate sector, who wants to focus on automobile sector, who are in furniture line, who are into antique business, will see great boost during the Saturn transit. A retrograde Saturn is eyeing towards the 3rd house, and when it has its movement directed towards the 3rd house, it means you will have to take matter in your own hand. You will have to also look towards your happiness. You on the one hand, you are holistic, you are inclusive, but if you are sacrificing yourself too much, this retrograde Saturn will be a reminder that you should also think about yourself. I'm not talking about being selfish, but I'm talking about being justified towards oneself. A retrograde Saturn will have its aspect on the 10th house, so it will impact the work area also. You might feel uncomfortable with your position in life, and therefore this is the time to take initiatives that will put you into a much accelerated position, and you will get the success in your life. Just be careful of one thing. You need to analyze every suggestion that has been given to you. Think according to your capabilities, and whatever is convenient and whatever is within your limits, you should only pursue that. If something is beyond the limit, then don't take the leap of faith, but rather be practical and always have a plan B. Sagittarius Ascendant. For you, Saturn will be in the 3rd house and it rules your 2nd and 3rd house. A retrograde Saturn in 3rd house means be careful towards your action. Things that were stuck from a very long time will now suddenly come into final planning. And things towards which you were absolutely rushing will see a sudden resistance or a delay. Because it's a retrograde Saturn, it will behave in a deviated manner. 3rd house retrograde Saturn in Dhanish Nakshatra means you will have to be very careful about your finances. There can be future expenses, and so you must start planning at least towards the end of 2022. Second Lord being Saturn and it being in the 3rd house directed towards the 2nd house also means that you will apply a lot of efforts towards adjusting, increasing and balancing your finances and the family life. But because it is a positive move for you, all these efforts will lead to a very stable life without tension and with a lot of positive and optimistic mindset. The life that you're going to lead in the future is going to be very positive, uplifting, and Jupiter, which is your Lagna Lord, is in the 4th house, so which means it will bring you happiness, peace and stability. People who are looking for buying a house, this is a good time. People who are looking to buy a vehicle, this is a good time. People who are looking to invest money in obviously safe investment, thinking the future plans, this is a good time. Buying an insurance, planning for your retirement, this is a very good time. Overall, don't do anything that can put you into intense financial crunch. But if you have planned enough, if you know that there's a backup plan, take one step at a time and you will see that you will be in a much better position in your life. Overall, if I have to say, take care of your shoulders, take care of your hands, take care of your weight, eat right, do yoga, and you will see that your health will also become right. And once your health is right, everything will be absolutely positive. This is the time to take initiatives. This is the time to work towards your goals. Saturn is going to favor you. Just pray the Shani mantra and you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. Capricorn Ascendant. Your ascendant is ruled by Saturn and Saturn is retrograde in the 2nd house. This is the time to fulfill your wishes. This is the time to take initiatives towards your personal financial goals. 2nd house retrograde Saturn can also mean that some amount of money can be spent on yourself or your family members. Try to ensure that when you are spending money, spend money conservatively. Don't go overboard because a retrograde Saturn may make you spend more than what you actually need. So this is the time where you have to clearly define what you want and what you need. Take care of the oral health, and if you have any tooth related issue, it's the time to visit the dentist without any further delay. A retrograde Saturn in the 2nd house also means that this is going to churn you on your values. It's a test whether you stand for your values or you give up because you are following the path of Rahu. Retrograde Saturn is always a test for humanity, and for Capricorn Ascendant it's a greater test because the motion of Saturn is only towards your ascendant. On 12th of July, Saturn will move out of Aquarius and will move into Capricorn, so you have to take great care of your health. Although it's not negative, but it's a test. So if there are minor health issues, take it as a warning, and then proactively work towards improving your overall health, not only physical health, but also emotional and mental health. This is also the time when some of the family member can go against you. There can be a fight between brothers, there can be a struggle because of inheritance. Be careful, be grounded, and whenever you're dealing with people, deal diplomatically. don't speak something that you should not have said. And if you think you are wrong, it is best to simply apologize and correct your mistake. If you do that, Saturn will ensure that you get the best of the best. And as a Capricorn ascendant, because you are ruled by Shanidev, the main intention of the planets is to make you behave the way they would have. Follow the path of Saturn, learn more about Saturn, try to understand the value system, what Saturn wants to inculcate, and you will see that you are in a much better situation in life. Aquarius ascendant. Saturn goes retrograde on the first house, and Saturn's actual movement is towards the 12th house. This means this can increase expenses. But this expenses is not for bad, but it is for stability, it is for your own good. Just you need to ensure that out of curiosity or out of proving to somebody, you don't spend more than what you should have. Jupiter is there in the second house, and therefore you won't have any financial problems, but this can give you some tension. A retrograde Saturn's movement in the 12th house means there can be a relocation, there can be a change of house, change of city, change of country. So people who are working for export and import, who are working in MNCs, who are planning to go abroad for studies or for business or for career, will see that their task will result a positive yield, and you will see the positive sign in your life. It's a very good time for you, although it's a retrograde Saturn on your ascendant. But if you take it positively, it will give you the real positive result by controlling the losses of your life. It may be an expenses that prevents your future loss. A retrograde Saturn on ascendant always talks about focusing your attention towards your health. Take care of your health, and if there is any health issue right now, it is the time to take action towards it and take it very seriously. Yoga, pranayam, following a holistic lifestyle, and eating right are the few ways by which you can correct your health. And if you know there is a problem, don't delay, visit a doctor. Overall, if I see, this time may seem difficult, but it is actually good. Wait for the time when Saturn becomes direct in Capricorn, and you will see that whatever decisions you are taking now, if you are taking it positively, with patience and with planning, those decisions will come right, and you will be very happy at the end. A struggle now will result into a good future tomorrow. Pisces ascendant. Saturn is going to be retrograde in your 12th house, and its intention of motion is towards 11th house. Saturn rules your gains as well as your losses. So Pisces, at the end of the day, gains nothing, loses nothing. But this Saturn wants you to gain because you have lost so much. It is the time for recovery. It is the time when you will see financial recovery, moral recovery, and emotional recovery. People who are having a difficult time in marriage will see a positive time. They will be able to accept the situation and move on. Lot of relations will be positive now because a sense of understanding and maturity will come. A 12th house retrograde Saturn till 12th of July will be in the sign of Aquarius, and therefore this will make you take initiatives, take steps to mitigate expenses, convert your losses into gains, and increase the return on investment. People who are into foreign countries, people who are away from their home will also see a trip towards their home. This will also bring families together, and if your elder brother or sister is in problem, you may have to provide help to them. That is one role that you might have to play. Jupiter is on the first house, and while Saturn goes retrograde and reaches the sign of Capricorn, Jupiter in the first house increases wisdom, gives you the knowledge, gives you guidance, and expands your life. This is a really good time because not only on one hand your Lagna Lord tries to give you the power and positive energy, the Lord of losses wants to move to gains. So loss will see loss, and therefore you stand to only gain. make the best use of